Hey everyone. You're probably reading the title of this video and you're saying, what is Animation Hall of Fame? What does that mean? Well, let me kind of give you a little bit of a backstory on it. You see, the Animation Hall of Fame was something, well actually it was something I started on as a Yahoo group many years ago. And not really been into it that much. Basically, we all know that there's different Hall of Fames out there. I mean, there's the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, there's the Professional Basketball, NBA Hall of Fame, the Hockey Hall of Fame, the National Collegiate Hall of Fame, the Dan Gable International Museum, Luz Des Hall of Fame in Waterloo. Shout out to Schleg Daddy because I'm currently watching that video. There's the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame up in New Jersey, New York, and of course, there's the WWE Hall of Fame, which is yet to have a building bought out to make into a Hall of Fame, or even built to make into a Hall of Fame. So, but just like the WWE Hall of Fame, even though we know it exists, physically it does not have a place for us to see the items displayed of the Hall of Fame inductees and of all the historical moments. But just like the WWE Hall of Fame, an Animation Hall of Fame, in my opinion, because I'm pretty sure there's a real one out there, maybe not, I'm not really sure, but if there was, to me, or if there was going to be one in the future, to me the Animation Hall of Fame should have like 3 categories, in my opinion, 3 categories, and I'm pretty sure you would agree with these. The 3 categories are franchise, in other words, the animation franchise, which has gone beyond just one series, has spun off into numerous things, movies, series, comics, whatever. Animated series wise, in other words, the animated series that have excelled expectations, in other words, excelled people's expectations, has excelled to levels they wouldn't expect, even though they may not be aired anymore, they're still excelling and all that. And of course, individual wise, basically an animated character that individually excelled and is worthy of being in a Hall of Fame. Now we know there's the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and when you walk on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you'll see Hollywood stars of some animated characters out there, and we all know who some of those animated characters are. But if there was an Animation Hall of Fame, this is what I think it would be like. Like I said, these 3 categories I mentioned would be the 3 main categories out there. And believe me, if I'm any if I'm any studio out there that has a relation or has animation as one of my forefronts, then I'm a studio that would consider doing this. Take away all the the separation of, oh, this belongs to this person, that belongs to that studio, blah blah blah. Push that all away and just focus on what these 3 categories are about and those who deserve to be in them. Now, to give you an example, of what I would do for the first class of what I would consider the first class to the Animation Hall of Fame. This is how I would look at it. And some of you may say this is from maybe a personal bias standpoint, some of these selections, and you might be right. But some of you may agree with them as well. Now we all know that sometimes Hall of Fames say that you have to have about maybe 6 inductees in each category. 6 inductees into each category. Well, let's take a look from a franchise standpoint first. Let's take a look at the franchise standpoint. From a franchise standpoint, these are the 6 inductees that I would have inducted into the first class of the Animation Hall of Fame. The first inductee, franchise-wise, would be, well actually the first 3 are from Hanna-Barbera. The first one out of Hanna-Barbera would be the Flintstones. The Flintstones have transcended through spin-offs from the original primetime series, and that would be one of the reasons they'd be inducted, being the first primetime animated series. They've transcended from that to spin-offs of the Flintstone Comedy Hour, Pebbles and Bam Bam, the Flintstone Kids, They've had a live-action movie, 2 live-action movies actually. They've had 2 animated movies, 3 animated feature films on television, which are I Yabba Dabba Doo, Holly Rockabye Baby, and Christmas Carol. They've had, speaking of Christmas, they've had numerous Christmas carols. Numerous Christmas specials. They've even had a sort of a modernization, a more matured themed television movie on Cartoon Network many years ago, directed by the people of Spumco, whatever you call them, the people that did Ren and Stimpy mostly, and all that. They've also had video games. They've had comics. I mean, the Flintstones would definitely be one of the first inductees from a franchise standpoint. One of the first 6 inductees. A second induction from Hanna-Barbera as well, like I said, the first 3 would be from them, would be Yogi Bear. Yogi Bear, just like the Flintstones, started out with his own cartoon shorts on Huckleberry Hound, expanded into his own series. He became the first Hanna-Barbera character, even before the Flintstones, to be part of it, to star in a feature film, which was Hanna-Barbera's first feature film. You know, he's had a lot of spin-offs. You know, he's had like Yogi's Ark Lark, which was a 1-hour television movie pilot for Yogi's Gang. He's had Yogi's Space Race. He's had, you know, he was part of Laugh Olympics. You know, he even made a guest appearance as a balloon in an episode of another Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which I'll mention in a little while. I'll mention in a bit. He has, like I said, he has numerous spin-offs. You know, he's had Yogi's Treasure Hunt. He's had Yo Yogi, the teen version of him. He's had numerous, you know, made-for-television movies as part of Hanna-Barbera Superstar 10, like Yogi's Great Escape, Yogi and the Magical Spruce Goose, and Yogi and the Invasion of the Space Bears. You know, he's had numerous specials like Yogi's First Christmas, so far, as far as I know, the only Hanna-Barbera holiday-related movie starring any of the franchise characters. The only one that I think of until Flintstones came along with Christmas Carol. You know, he's had another one called Christmas Caper. He's had Easter Bear, and recently he's had a live-action movie. He's having a sequel coming out. He's had video games, comic books. He's had his movie adapted into a comic book. Not the live-action one, but the animated one from 1964. I mean, the list goes on. Just like with the Flintstones, he's gone to all different medias. And that's why his franchise, the Yogi Bear franchise, would be the second inductee. And the third inductee, also from Hanna-Barbera, of course, would be Scooby-Doo. That's right, Scooby-Doo would be the third one. I mean, currently he has a new series on Cartoon Network called Mystery Incorporated. He's had numerous spin-offs. I mean, the list just goes on. He's had the Scooby-Doo movies, where I mentioned Yogi Bear guest starred as a balloon in a Batman and Robin episode. You know, he's had the Scooby-Doo movies, which was a 1-hour Saturday morning deal with guest stars of celebrities doing their own voices, of people doing a celebrity's voice, or their own impersonation of it. You know, they've had crossovers with other Hanna-Barbera franchises, like Speed Buggy and Josie and all that, and Genie. You know, and after that, they've had the new Scooby-Doo show, which expanded Scooby's own family tree by introducing us to his cousin Scooby-Dee and his cousin Scooby-Dum. Then we had Scooby and Scrappy, which introduced us to Scrappy, even though people don't like Scrappy. It went from that to the new Scooby-Doo show, where it was just Scooby, Shaggy, Scrappy, and Daphne, to the all-new Scooby-Doo Mysteries, which again was just Scooby, Shaggy, Scrappy, and Daphne, to the 13 Ghosts, which was, of course, Scooby, Shaggy, and Daphne, and the new characters of Flim Flam, as well as Vincent Van Gogh, who is voiced by Victor Price, or Vincent Price, I should say, Vincent Price. You had that. You had, even before those, you had Scooby's Laugh Olympics, where the Laugh Olympics show, before it went just to Laugh Olympics, was known as Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics. And then, like I said, after all that, you know, like I said, you had the Scooby-Doo Mysteries, you had the all-new Scooby-Doo Mysteries, 13 Ghosts. Then you had a pup named Scooby-Doo, which was sort of like the the second Hanna-Barbera franchise to star the main characters as kids, the first one being Flintstone Kids. You had that, and then after a while you had, I think that was the last one for a while, then you had What's New Scooby-Doo, then you had Scooby and Shaggy Get a Clue, and now you have Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. And through all that, you had a variety of movies. You had movies galore. You had, you had Scooby movies based on the Hanna-Barbera Superstar 10s, like Ghoul School, Reluctant Werewolf, Boo Brothers. You had Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. You had, lately in the 90s, you had Zombie Island, Cyber Chase, Witches, Ghost. I mean, the list goes on of that. You've had 2 live-action movies in theaters, Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. You had a few Prelude movies, live-action Prelude movies that debuted on Cartoon Network. I mean, again, the list just goes on of what the Scooby-Doo franchise has done. Just like with the Flintstones, and just like with Yogi. And that's why they would be the first 3 inductees, along with the other 3 in a franchise standpoint. The other 3 from a franchise standpoint, not to go too much into it, but from a franchise standpoint, the 4th inductee would be Tiny Toon Adventures. Would be the Tiny Toon Adventure franchise, because they've been very popular and they've spun off and they've guest starred in other series. They would be part of the franchise because what they succeeded in. The Tiny Toons franchise would be a 4th one. The 5th one would be most definitely the Simpsons franchise. I mean, take a look what they've gone through, 20 years. And of course the 6th one, of course from a franchise standpoint, would be the Berenstain Bears. That's right, even though the Berenstain Bears started out as books, they most notably got inducted started out as books. They've got more noted when they had the animated series come out. So they would be the first 6 inductees. So those 3, Tiny Toons, Berenstain Bears, and God, what did I just mention? I can't remember. I'll just have to rewatch the video. This is Tiny Toons, Berenstain Bears, and Simpsons. That's right, Simpsons. Those, along with Scooby-Doo, Yogi, and Flintstones, to me, if I was to do an Animation Hall of Fame, would be the first inductees from a franchise standpoint. Now, animated series standpoint, now some of you may say is from a personal bias kind of situation, maybe, maybe not. But from an animated series standpoint, this is who would go in, the 6 animated series from an animated series standpoint. Animated series would be the Raccoons, because of the longevity. The Raccoons would be the first one. Second one would be Chippendale Rescue Rangers. That's right, because they set the standard for what a Disney afternoon series should be. Number 3, and again, this is one that you might think is a personal favorite, in personal opinion, in my opinion. Number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog, otherwise known as Sonic Sat-Am, would be the 3rd inductee. Number 4 would be Thundercats. Number 4 would be Thundercats. Number 5 would be Transformers. And number 6 would be Jem. That's right, these franchises would all be inducted as part of an animated series deal. All these shows. Now you might say, well, shouldn't you exchange Transformers with Berenstain Bears? Maybe, but Berenstain Bears is on their 50th year, so I think it's more appropriate that they be in the franchise category. Transformers, yeah, they could be an honorable mention in the franchise, but animated series-wise, the original animated series would definitely, the Generation 1, would definitely go into an animation series wing in the Hall of Fame. So that, from those 6 would be in there. Raccoons, Rescue Rangers, Sonic Sat-Am, Transformers, Jem, and again, what did I mention? Thundercats. Yeah, that's what I mentioned, Thundercats as well. And then individually, this would be like the big one. This would be the big one. Let me check my time here for a second. individually, this would be like the big one. And I'll be back in a second.